Null Composure is a new ritual weapon in Season of the Splicer, so this is similar to old pinnacle weapons like the Mountaintop or Recluse, but slightly less potent, so ritual weapons come fully masterworked with some really useful and deadly perk combinations. Well, today I'm going to go through Null Composure, the stats, the perks, and also how to get the weapon the fastest way possible so you can benefit from the buffs to fusion rifles this season with one of the best fusions in the game. Well, if you're new around here or find this useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. Well, Null Composure is a legendary energy fusion rifle. It's got a rapid fire frame, meaning deeper ammo reserves. It's slightly faster reload when the magazine is empty. Looking at the stats, we've got 55 for impact, 36 for range, 42 for stability, 60 for handling, 53 for reload speed. It's got a charge time of 540, and there's 6 in the magazine, and given it's a ritual weapon, this one also comes fully masterworked. Well, next up, let's have a look at the Null Composure perks. So in terms of the perks, it does come with a fixed roll and fully masterworked, as I said before, but it's got fluted barrel and projection fuse, and then we've got a choice in the 3rd and the 4th slots. So in the 3rd slot, we can choose from Feeding Frenzy, where each rapid kill with a weapon progressively increases the reload speed for a short time, and also there's a new perk called Heating Up, where final blows with this weapon increase accuracy and stability while improving vertical recoil. In the 4th slot, we've got a choice between Reservoir Burst. When the battery is full, your next burst deals additional damage and causes enemies to explode on death, and also High Impact Reserves, where rounds at the end of your magazine deal more damage. And personally, I'm really enjoying Reservoir Burst and Feeding Frenzy together, but it is totally up to you. Well, next up, let's have a look at how to get Null Composure in Destiny 2. So to get this weapon, you are going to need to complete the Sacred Fusion quest, which you can pick up from Banshee 44 in the tower in Season of the Splicer. As far as I know, it is a Season of the Splicer weapon, so I'm not sure it's available on the free track. I do think you have to have the Season Pass for this one. So first of all, go to Banshee and pick up the quest, and you want to have a look at the objectives in your quest tab, because there's some key information on there. So the objectives say, earn points by defeating targets in playlist activities, and you can earn bonus progress by defeating targets with fusion rifles, disintegrations, or solar damage in Crucible, Gambit, or Strikes. And additional progress for defeating targets with a stasis subclass equipped. So there's 2 objectives to the quests. You've got the points and the activities. So first of all, let's start out on the points. And what I do is recommend going into the Strike or the Gambit playlist and equipping a solar fusion rifle and getting as many kills as possible. For the choice of weapon, I go with something like Jotun, and you can pick that one up from the Monuments to Lost Lights at the exotic kiosk in the tower, and that is next to your vault. Or you can go with the Cartesian Coordinate, and both of them are solar fusion rifles, and that's going to speed up your progress nice and quickly. So even better, if you equip the Stasis subclass, you're then going to get 3 sets of progress improvements, all working at the same time. So getting the points, it's all about killing enemies, so do what works for you, and I did a combination of Gambit and Strikes, and that worked for me pretty well. So the best thing to do is pay attention to the objectives on the quest in your quest tab, and it will tell you how to make efficient progress. So for the points, it's all about killing enemies. So you want to try and find dense enemy populations, either in Strikes or Gambit. I think they both work pretty well. So Gambit matches are shorter, and that is going to be handy in the next part of the quest. So for the second part, it is complete the activities. So the fastest way to do this depends on the way that you play. So if you are part of a team, then you could go into Gambit with a fully stacked team and get this step done nice and quickly if you keep winning. However, Gambit is likely to be a little bit slower if you're running solo. You could also go into Crucible if you prefer. So for example, if Mayhem or Team Scorched is available, then that'd be good, as the matches are going to be nice and fast. And it is worth noting that Team Scorched is available in this first week, which is handy, and it's going to help you get that step done nice and quickly. But whatever you do, and whichever playlist you go into, make sure you equip a fusion rifle and get a lot of kills. But as I mentioned before, the second part of the quest is all about doing the number of activities, and you're going to get between 3 and 5% done for each activity, whether it be a Strike, a Crucible match, or a Gambit match. So it's going to take a few hours to work through this quest, but what I would do is combine it with other activities. So for example, if you're chasing your pinnacle drops for the week in playlist activities, then you could do that at the same time, or you could be going after playlist specific weapons, because there's loads of new weapons available in playlists, whether it be in Strikes, Crucible or Gambit. But I would say the most efficient way of doing this is winning gambit matches as a team, but strikes can be fast too, but I would look out for the long ones and you can always skip them. So once you've finished up gathering the points and doing the activities, you get a pop-up notification saying to go back to the tower to see Banshee 44. Once you go back to the tower and see Banshee, you can pick up the Null Composure, and congratulations, you've now got one of the best fusion rifles in the game. One final thing before we go, it is worth noting that Bungie buffed fusion rifles this season, so they've increased the damage fall off start distance for fusion rifles, so it's got no effect on the 100 range stat, plus 2 meters on a 0 range stat. So fusions do have a little bit of a buff this season. It'll be interesting to see where they fit in the meta. Well, that is a bit about Null Composure, its stats, its perks, and how to get it. But next up, I want to have a look at the lore. The Destiny storytelling is some of the best in the business, but it is tucked away on weapons and armor. So I wanted to go over that lore with you today and share it with you to make sure you get all the details for the season. So we've got Null Composure lore, initiate or suppress. The 5 splicers sat motionless around a small access point that jutted from the dark stone. It pulsed softly, checked and rechecked the permissions that summoned it, and then pushed a data spike solidly into the Vex domain. The splicer's consciousness spiraled into the network, and they immediately sensed the colours changing around them. They were being hunted. Exclusion fields manifested and chased them, sizzling over the data planes as they passed. With a confident laugh, Grainslayer blinked into a silver fractal of unbound light, and the field shattered and split to follow him. Chronic Leckel spun cool blue towers of mandatory protocols stretching into infinity, and then duplicated his trace and sent himself hurtling down all possibilities at once. The domain chugged and hitched as he moved. Anomaly focused his light and caught a bucking ripple of the domain, pushed and pried a crack into the deep cipher beneath. Collide and Corrosion plunged through. Corrosion, her light a scythe, tore fiercely at the smothering strands of replicated data. Collide reached into the blinding heart of the domain, grasping at the decompiling wisps, feeling them retract from his access. He centered himself and willed the correct strand to appear before him. It took all his strength and skill to bend it, to change a 1 to a 0. And as he thought it happened. The access point dissipated, leaving the 5 splicers back in the dark stone room. They turned to Collide, and when he nodded, they collapsed into a joyful, relieved laughter. They had erased the Vex's knowledge of Mithrax's daughter, Ido. Collide caught his breath and shrugged with false modesty. Provoke the Emendum, he began. Perish as the Residum, Corrosion finished for him, before she fell into fits of laughter once more. Well, really, really good stuff there. But it just goes to show some of the power that these fallen splicers have if they can manipulate the Vex's knowledge. But let me know what you think about Null Composure down there in the comments. And if you've got any tactics for getting it faster, share them with the community. Well, that is it for this guide for how to get Null Composure in Destiny 2. And as always, thank you so much for watching. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. If you want to join the community, check out the Discord link in the description, or you can follow me on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Thanks again. See you soon.